one. We are live on the tube.
Hello.
We're live on the tube. We're live on the tube.
Tubes. All right, you lovely people.
We are live.
I doubt anyone's even joined yet, have they?
No, but you never can tell.
You know, say hello to everyone, and I'm like, no one's here. No one's here yet.
Yes,
What's the point?
It is what it is, homie. You know what I'm saying? Right, let me minimize that down onto that side. Pull that up on that side.
I do.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check.
Oh, Audacity. Get that in the right place. Whoop.
Jesus, Owen.
What?
I didn't realize I was listening to an American marching band.
Sorry, it annoys me that this doesn't quite screw on properly.
Wow.
Yeah, hold on. It's better.
Who's
Happy
TH?
days.
Who's TH?
Sorted. Don't know.
TH. Don't know. Tom Hiddleston. That's who it is. It's Tom Hiddleston.
Tony, Tom, Tim,
Thomas. Terry.
Tina.
Tina. Could be Tina.
Could be
Teresa. Could be
Tracy.
Teresa. Tracy. Definitely not Karen. Better make this good. He's rushed home for this. Fool, he should have stayed at work.
I just used that as my sound check.
Did you?
Yeah. Right. I'm ready to go.
I have a brand new beer.
Evening, Thomas. Evening, Adam Phillips. Hello, Brooksy. Hello, Stewie. Hello,
How we doing,
Graham.
Stu Pot? I still don't think he's got a B80.
He has. I've seen it.
Might have been a fake.
It's not. I touched it. I touched his big pot.
And when I think about you, I touch myself. Oh. We have to do the songs, by the way, tonight.
That was nice. Thanks.
We have to do the songs.
Just gonna get my my kidney.
Your first beer.
My kidney I bought from Amazon.
You know, in America, you can buy lobsters live from Amazon.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Oh, what do I have first? I've got two very different beers.
Which one's the highest ABV?
The first one, but only by 0.2%. So
Are they both over 9?
no, they are both over 6.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel a bit weak because my first one's 5.5, my second one's 5.
To be fair, Chris, I don't think there's anything in my fridge less than 6%. So,
Well, that's because you're an animal.
it's because I like high ABV beers. That's why I'm getting. That's why I'm getting fat.
Tom Kent. Oh, mate, I'm already fat. Mine's because I eat too many pizzas.
Well, yeah, that might also be part of my problem because I had Pizza Hut for dinner.
Did you? What did I have for dinner? What did I have for dinner?
Oh, I'm cracking it.
What did I have?
Nice hiss.
I don't remember. Don't be giving it. Look, we need to hit go on Audacity.
Oh shit, we do, don't we?
We do.
Totally forgot about that.
Bit of silence. 3, 2, 1, go.
That was a long pause between.
Yeah, that's because I
and
forgot
go.
to say go because I'm a bit stupid.
I just listened for the click.
So TH brewed my bitter last week, and then he spells my name wrong. Yeah.
So, as long as he didn't spell the beer name wrong.
This is true. Yeah, because it's not called Even Sharks Need Water. No, I hope you enjoy it, mate. It's a cracking recipe, and it seems to be taking off a little bit. Does that recipe? So if you notice me wiping my lips or my face or my nose using my arm, there's a good reason for it. It's because
poor manners.
I've literally just been sorting out some dried chilies with my fingers, and I washed them. But for those of you who don't know, if you wash your hands after you've handled chilies, it doesn't get rid of the capsaicin. So what you have to do is you have to wash your hands with milk, something with a bit of fat in it, or alcohol. So alcoholic milk would be perfect. Washing your hands with Bailey's would probably get rid of it. However, I didn't, and I'm currently suffering. I've got this ear, which is on fire. The bottom of my lips is on fire. My nose is burning. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to scratch my eye soon, which means I'm going to be bleeding from the eyes. So, yeah. Could be interesting podcast, this one. If I start doing this a lot, it's not because I've got a nervous tick. It's because I've rubbed my hands on my eyes.
It's going to be quite funny if you have to go for a piss.
Well, I'm going to have to go for a piss at some point. And yes, that is going to be painful.
It's going to be funny.
Oh,
it's going to be hilarious.
I want to lick my fingers, but I can't. This is going to be amazing. And when I think about you, I touch myself.
Right. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to, not today.
Right. Are you going to do an intro?
Yeah, why not? Just let me pour this pint out.
I can do the intro.
Go on then.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of the Hop Edition podcast. It's just Chris and I tonight, and we're going to be bringing you a commercial beer podcast. So we've been a little lazy on the planning. We felt since it was only two of us, we'd just kick back and have a couple of beers. So this is episode 33.
No, 36.
36.
Ish.
Thanks, Chris. I wasn't sure. You kind of gave me the 3.
As in, this is the third commercial beer. This is the third commercial pod.
This is the third commercial podcast. If you tuned in on Thursday,
you would have heard the second one.
Yeah, the second one. We did a little cheeky impromptu commercial pod. It was just the one beer. Tonight we're going to be reviewing 2 beers each. So yeah, let's kick back. Let's do that. That was nice.
Yeah.
Let's kick back and enjoy some beers and talk about beer and have some laughs.
Yeah, because that's what this is all about, okay? We were getting a bit too serious, talking about things like water chemistry and stuff. And the reality is, what we really need to do is every so often, everybody just needs to chill, all right? So
Chill out.
Put your slippers on, grab a dressing gown, or let it all hang loose, whichever way you want to fly. Not you, Owen.
Hold on.
You're moving back.
I'm just taking my trousers off.
Dropping trout. Just chill out, put your feet up, kick back, have a bevy with us, listen to us talk shit about beer, and just generally have a bit of a laugh and a giggle, because sometimes life gets too serious and sometimes you just need a good laugh. And I think that's what me and Owen are hoping to provide tonight. Hopefully me talking about rubbing chili in my eyes has probably started you all laughing pretty well. So we'll see where we end up with this one. So, Owen, what have you been up to the last couple of days, man?
Well, it's the little boy's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, wicked.
So today was making cake, and I went and got my hair cut.
As you can tell, yeah.
And had visitors, family visitors, doing all that whole fun stuff. And then we're off to Legoland tomorrow. So that's why I've got to behave myself this evening. It's just 2 beers. Because I have to be up early and, all that sort of stuff. What did I do Friday? Oh, I had a half day off work. Jack had his first day his second day at school, actually. It was just the morning. So I had to pick him up. And we went and played crazy golf, which was fun.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's like this funny, you'd love it, right? There's this themed mini golf Crazy Golf putt, whatever you call it in your country, for those that are listening. And it's got dinosaurs. It's got full life-size animatronic dinosaurs.
Mate,
but
you're making me jealous.
They've decided that dinosaurs wasn't enough, and they've decided to sort of blend dinosaurs with Vikings.
Wicked.
Yeah, because everyone knows that they overlapped in the analogues of history.
Well, there are some people who believe that dinosaurs and humans overlapped. But what can we say? You're making me jealous, mate.
It was fun.
You're making me jealous.
It was fun. I won. Jack did get 2 holes in one, though, which was pretty impressive. I only got 1.
So basically what you're telling me is your son's better than you at Crazy Golf.
Well, he scored 99 through 18 holes. I scored 47, and I did putt left-handed for about 6 of those holes. So
basically what you're telling me is he's better than you because his score was higher.
Yeah, that's definitely how it works, yeah.
Not being a golfist myself, I don't have any golf bats, so I don't know.
He got the higher score, therefore he won. Yeah.
There you go. That's how we roll.
That's how Crazy Golf works.
That's how it is.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Well, Friday I was at work, and then we had beer club at work, after work, where we sampled a bottle of 12-year-old dark lager from Brittany.
Wow.
Somebody had a bottle in the back of his shed, and I'll be honest, I kind of wish he'd left it there. It was sherry with caramel flavors, and it was the most hideous thing I've ever drunk in my life.
So just incredibly oxidized.
Yeah. Yeah. It was basically jam. It was pretty rank.
It was jammy sherry.
The other beers were all right, though. We had Harrison's Brewery, which obviously I supplied, raspberry sour, which was really nice. Almost made one person's head turn inside out.
Really?
It was way better than 3-year-old Bishop's Finger. That was pretty rank, Adam. And then what did we have after that? Then we actually had a beer I'm going to review in a minute, so I can't tell you about that one. And then we had the rank one, and then we had, I think that was it. I think we only had 3, but there's like 12 of us in a room, so you get like that much in the bottom of a wine glass, and it's more about the tasting and just having a laugh more than anything else. So
yeah,
bit of team bonding at the end of a Friday, which, considering I'm supposed to finish at 3:30, and didn't actually start until 4:15, annoyed me slightly. But you know, what can you do? Teachers. Man.
Worth hanging around for, though.
It was, mate. It was. Aside from that weird bottle, but yeah, it was good. It was all right. And today, literally, my arse has not touched a seat since 6:10 this morning.
Wow.
I have been full on. Houston is there again. Still in Germany, Houston.
Do you want to give us some details, or is it just
what today?
Quite mundane, or
first thing shopping, second thing cleaning the house, third thing started cooking, then some more cleaning because the kids decided to destroy everything, and then an inventory of the chest freezer, which is just there. And then what did I do after that? Then it was a bit more cleaning, then cooking. So today the wife has cooked. I just did the prep. I'm basically a sous chef bitch, because I can cut things and she can't.
It's not just sous chef though, is it? It's probably more just the bitch bit.
Bitch, yeah. And then we've been cooking. So we've done a chili, we've done some keema, cottage pie, and I also did fish butties for tea, which was really nice. So I made a beer batter, dipped some cod loin in it, and then deep fried it, put it between 2 slices of bread with some onion rings and a bit of mayo. Lovely.
That sounds like filth.
It was dirt, mate, but I ate 3 of them just to make sure it weren't bad.
Sounds lovely. I made, forgot to mention, I made a Guinness cake. Have you ever had Guinness cake?
Once.
It's our kind of go-to. It's the only cake we ever make. And basically, I doubled up on the recipe. So I effectively made 2 of them. And then I sliced them both in half.
Oh, 4-decker.
And then I just went 4-decker cake. And I swear to God, it was probably about 9 inches tall.
Mate, you got to love a quad deck.
And then topped it with sweets. It was pretty awesome.
And shit?
No, Jack wanted a blue sweet cake. So he just bought a bag of like mixed blue sweets and just chucked all of that on there. So the kids have had like a horrendous amount of sugar today. But
did they crash hard when it came to bedtime?
One of them did. The other did not.
Tolerance.
Yeah, something like that.
I made the beer batter for the fish with a pint of my medicine, which went down really well.
Yeah, nice. No, I've not knocked anything over. I nearly did. In fact, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Derek Hodge. Thank you for your oatmeal stout that made my my Guinness cake. So thanks for that, Derek.
I also want to give a shout out. I had my first beer mail for quite a while today, and it was from the one, the only Mr. Luke, whose surname I can't remember.
Stevens.
That's the one, Luke Stevens, Shaky himself, and he sent me a bottle of the Southern Jesse Pills.
I was also fortunate enough to receive a bottle of it, so thank you from me as well, Luke.
Am I the only one who thinks it's literally the clearest beer you've ever seen in your life?
It's up there, isn't it? It's up there.
I mean, clarity.
Yeah, it was pretty outrageous.
Yeah, it's sweet. So I'm looking forward to drinking that one. Oh my God, what's happened here? Right, there we go. We're back. Now, I think today what we need to do is we need to get into the beers. And since I went first on Thursday, mate.
Yeah.
I think you need to go first today.
I will. So I've got a beer from actually a brewery that I've had a couple of beers. It's probably maybe only the second, but I've been impressed with both of them.
It's not Verdant then, is it?
It's not, no. It is an Italian brewery called Crack. So
he's on the crack tonight.
I'm on the crack tonight. I'm not sure whether it actually is pronounced crack, but it's CR/AK. And they're an Italian brewery who are based in don't know. Where are they? Somewhere in Italy. Campo de Sego. If anyone knows where that is.
It's not a very big country though, is it really?
No. I'll look it up if you like. I'll tell you roughly where it is because I haven't got a clue. And it is a wheat IPA, which this came in I think, kind of a mixed case of sort of beers. It was like 7 or 8 beers. I think it was actually supposed to be a lager. I think it did anyway. It was like a lager sort of case that I got from Honest Brew. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I just actually ordered this. And it's really very good. So I'm guessing a wheat IPA is going to be most likely a Pilsner and wheat grist. I'm guessing.
Super light?
It's not super light. I mean, it's coming in at 7%. So the ABV. I mean colour. Oh, the colour. Yeah, the colour's. I mean, it's orangey, quite light. It is pretty light. It's got a little orange tinge to it. Nice. Coming at 7%. So I'm guessing it's kind of 50-50 wheat and Pilsner. But it's got the whole kind of almost New England treatment. So it's got that mega hop aroma. It's super juicy. Got a good level of tropicality to it. It's got that whole kind of overripe mango and orange vibe. Yeah, so I think that's probably like a good whack of, I would say maybe like Mosaic. It doesn't actually say what hops are in it, but I'm going to be guessing Mosaic's featuring in there. bring in that kind of mango-y thing. I could be wrong.
That sounds amazeballs.
Yeah, it's actually very, very, very nice. I'm really, really pleased with it. Carbonation's on point. Body's great because I've no doubt the wheat's really contributed to that. And yeah, super impressed. So I quite often just sort of skip past this brewery. But now I've had a couple of their beers. I think I'm going to be exploring some more. Because so this beer, for everyone's benefit, is called Paso Carabiel or Carabal. Carrabile.
I've no idea. I don't speak much Italian.
It's got a kind of hipster kind of looking guy drinking a can of it.
Like Stewie.
But yeah, it does look a bit like Stuart Prince, actually.
Stewie, are you moonlighting as an Italian brewery?
I'm not sure if Stewie has any really awful tattoos on his arm, though. So, yeah, I'm not too sure who that is or who it's supposed to be. Let's conclude. Let's conclude it's Stuart Prince.
We'll go with that. Stewie, you need to get a tattoo to match that, mate.
Yeah, he needs to get a tattoo of what looks like a dagger with maybe wings and someone shaking a pot of pepper.
Okay, I mean,
all right,
weird, but let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Go, Stu. Off you go. So, I'm guessing that you're quite enjoying this one.
I am. I'm very much enjoying this beer.
Is it licking your bean?
Almost definitely. In fact, quick update on where these guys are based. Not too far from Venice. Yeah. So it's it looks quite like an old school place, bit of an enclave type. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we're not here to talk about the geography of Italy.
No, but what we're here to talk about is the beers from Italy.
Correct. So strong effort.
Strong
from our Italian brethren.
Are we going to rank it?
Cheers. Yeah, I'll give it I'll give it a 7.8.
Okay. Well, I'm jealous. I need a can of that, so you're gonna have to properly send me a picture and stuff so I can order some.
Tell you what it reminds. Tell you what it reminds me of. Of if you've ever had Verdant One More PSI.
Yes.
Tastes a little bit like that. Very, very low bitterness, super juicy, nice, solid beer. Anyway, Chris, you were going to talk about what beer you're drinking.
I was, because I'm actually really enjoying this one. And it won't be a surprise to many people who've been following recently that I am currently riding the cock of the sour train right now.
Oh, yes.
And a brewery that's very local to me, a brewery that I love very much, a brewery that Owen and Graham and a few of the other lads are going to be visiting with me in October, announced. I don't know whether it's a new beer, but I do think that it is a new beer to me. And it is Slippery Customer by Wild Child.
Did they name that after you?
They must have done. They must have seen how much lube I use. This is a raspberry and lemon sour. And the interesting thing that I've been reading on the back, which you guys can now read, is it has water, malted barley, wheat, hops, yeast, fruit puree, and Lactobacillus plantarum.
Yeah.
Which I've never heard of Lactobacillus plantarum before. And I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that it's actually one of those lactobacilli, which I really should have. Whoa, Owen's died. No, he's back. Owen's back.
Sorry, mate.
Very strange. Hang on. Is that going to reflect? Nope. Yep. There we go. Right. It's happening on YouTube right now.
And I'm back up. Sorry about that.
So yeah, I had to get this one mainly because I've had raspberry sours, I've had lemon sours, I've never had a raspberry and lemon sour.
Sorry, I missed. I'm sure everyone else heard it, but I missed the last bit about your research on Lactobacillus
Basically,
planetarium.
it's a lactose strain that I really should have been looking at because they're quite. It's quite. It's not a mega aggressive lactobacillus strain. It's quite a chill one. So it's one that I'm going to look at, and maybe when I get around to making my own sour, I might actually look at that lactose strain as my ding dong, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I think it's obviously a kettle sour.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that is what I used for my kettle sour.
Fucking hell,
pretty sure it might be the same stuff. I'd have to look it up.
So essentially, what you get with the flavour of this beer is, so I will always liken it back to somebody that I know. So when Luke Stevens sent me his raspberry sour, the first hit on your tongue when you take a drink is straight raspberry. You get fruity raspberry. And then at the end of that fruity raspberry, you get a drop off with a touch of sweetness before the sour kicks in.
Yeah.
At least that's what happens in my mouth. With this one, you get a massive blast of raspberry followed by this twang of lemon, this kind of kick in the roof of your mouth of lemon, and then just a touch of sweetness, and then you get sour that just continues afterwards.
Nice.
It's a really well balanced sour, considering I'm still, I barely popped my sour cherry, although with the amount that I had at the craft beer festival, probably slightly more than popped it. This is one of those beers where I will be buying more, not because I want to, train myself up on sours or anything, because I believe this will make an absolutely fantastic TV beer.
Yeah.
I just think it would go so well with a curry as to be untrue.
Well,
I think this banger.
It's probably a good palate cleanser, right? To go with quite a strong flavour of food. That's going to be ideal just to clean your palate. And is it?
Go on.
I get a sense like when I see a sour with lemon in it, I'm thinking, that's going to be sour. That's going to have a good wallop of sour.
It's sour.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, I think I talked about this on maybe on Thursday, or was it the first commercial podcast? I was like, the sourness, I like a little mid-range of sourness. I don't like anything horrendously sour. I think that's probably
sweetness at the end.
Yeah.
So after the sour's run its course and like twanged your tongue, you do get just a little sweetness just flowing off of the end from the raspberry.
That sounds great.
It's nice. Well, to be fair, if you want me to, I'll nip down to the brewery on Monday and I'll pick another 4 cans up, stick them in the fridge and save them for October. Yeah?
That's thumbs up from me, Chris.
Golden. I'll do that for you, mate.
Oh, thanks, bud.
This is a fantastic beer. For those of you who don't know Wild Child, and we've got a few people who listen who for some reason don't know Wild Child, Kia and his boy and his missus, who are the three who work at the company, they produce some absolutely top-notch kind of, I won't say out there beers because they're not out there. They do a really strong line of West Coast IPAs. They do a really strong line of New England IPAs. And they do an exceptional line of dark beers. But the main thing for me is they're pushing left and right, and they're poking different parts of the market. And for me, this sour is bang on. I wouldn't rate it quite as highly as a sour beer as the Cal, whatever it is, lime and tangerine creme brulee one from Omnipollo. But this, I mean, it's up there, mate. It's up there.
How many cans of that said beer have you ordered recently?
Not very many at all.
Is that 10 fingers you got raised?
Yeah. Well, I've already had 5 and I've ordered another 5.
Very nice. So Chris was kind enough to send me a link to where he found these cans, which were actually on sale as well, right?
I know.
But they were only but they were only 330s, right?
Well, they only sell that beer in 330.
Yeah. So I ended up going on there, and then I think it was 16 other beers later. I've got a rather large order arriving from the where was it? It was the
Beer Merchants.
Which was it was actually the stand.
They were the ones at LCBF,
They were selling, or not selling, serving that Omnipolo sour. But I ended up just getting sucked into the Belgian beers that they had.
You basically got a case of horsehair coming towards you.
Yeah, I had
a case of goat.
I had a whole bunch of Belgian beers, a few kind of mixed firm. We got another bottle of Cantillon on the way, although this one's like a fruited Cantillon, so it wasn't as expensive. And then I also ordered a can of Omnipolo Bianca. So I think it's like
that's the IPA, isn't it?
It's like an 11% mental beer. It's like fruit.
I thought oh no, is that the fruit
crazy? Yeah, like the fruited pancake maple. Add as many adjectives as you like, IPA or whatever. But I've heard
sound amazing.
I've heard they're not really like beer, but they're apparently absolutely amazing. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, we've just had it's been there a while. Graham Hughes has just posted up that his missus is going to give him a Wild Child shopping list when he comes up in October.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, if I were you, Graham, I'd bring some cash, mate, because you're going to need it. She's going to need a T-shirt and a hoodie and a hat and some extra glasses, as well as at least 4 of every beer that they have on.
You sorting your boy Kier out here. Brilliant. Go back to Wild Child. Like did they not receive an award for world's best beer for one of their, or like
Brownie Huntress?
It was Brownie Huntress, wasn't it?
Was it Brownie Huntress or was it? It
was
Beastmaster.
I thought it was the Imperial Brownie Huntress.
Yeah, Beastmaster.
And it was an award from the World Craft Beer Awards or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're clearly doing something right.
Like they know how to brew, and they make really interesting beers. I think that's the key, isn't it?
That's what keeps me going back. Is, I mean, I've raved about Siege of Khartoum. Their beers are fantastic, but whoever it was, and I've said this to Keir on many occasions. I've asked him how much weed he was smoking when he came up with the recipe for Siege of Khartoum, because it's a peanut butter and banana porter, and it fucking blows me away every single time I drink that beer. I've got 4 cans in the fridge at the side of me at the minute.
I didn't think you liked peanut in a beer.
Peanut butter and banana, mate. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean that is pretty solid. No?
It is. It's good. So yeah,
it was Beastmaster actually.
I thought it was Beastmaster.
Yeah. For some reason, the World Beer Awards website is having some problems. Server error.
Is it redirecting you to Tub Girl?
No, it's not. Thankfully.
Okay. That's a good thing. Rating out of 10 for this beer, purely based on the fact that I've not had anything like it before. I've not had a raspberry and lemon sour. Based purely on the fact of the aftertaste, which is why I keep sipping it. So I keep the aftertaste going. I'm going to rank this a solid 7.8.
Nice. Was that the same score as I gave my beer?
Was it?
I think it might be.
Well, then we've had 2 good beers.
Or did I give mine a 7.6?
I don't know.
I can't remember now.
Maybe the chat can help us out with that. What did Owen rank his beer as? Was it 7.6 or 7.8?
We've come out of the out the gates hot tonight, Chris.
We have.
Out the gates hot.
And to be fair, based on my next beer, it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I've got high hopes for my next beer. It's a style of beer I've been wanting to try for a long time.
Wow. Owen's going to pop his cherry on something.
I am. Funny backstory.
Oh,
I actually did buy this specific style of beer from this brewery, which is
Wildcard.
Yeah. Have you had any beers from Wildcard?
I haven't, but I have heard of them.
So they're down in Walthamstow in London. And they do
just like
make
E17.
Yeah, exactly, right. E17, they make some cracking beers. And I bought this specific style of beer amongst other beers and with the intention of drinking them, and ended up getting into some whiskey with my brother-in-law.
Oh dear.
And in fact, finishing off his 4-bottle whiskey collection one night. Didn't get around to drinking said beer. And the next day, you can imagine perhaps it wasn't at the top of my list of things to consume. And then I never got to try it. So I'm making good on the error of my ways.
Well, what can I say? I mean, I think we need to do what we do on every single one of these commercial podcasts at the moment, which is we need to take a little break.
Yeah.
We need to chill out. I think we need to discuss something new in the world of brewing, because I know we have quite a few people of the Antipodean persuasion who listen to this podcast. People are like, look at that. That's what happens when I cook. All the fat stains on my t-shirt.
I thought you might have just been dribbling from that sour.
I do have a lot of saliva in my mouth. That's from cooking fish. Bastard spat at me. So we've got a lot of Antipodeans who listen to this podcast. We're I won't say we're huge in Australia, because Australia is pretty fucking massive, and I'm a fat guy, but we do have quite a few listeners over in Australia, and Cheeky Peaks. So if you're listening to this podcast and you are a member of the Cheeky Peaks group, or if you're an Australian who listens to this who's not a member of the Cheeky Peaks group, they have just released their own line of fermenters.
I saw this. I've seen a lot of noise about this on social media.
Yes. And their Chronicle Unitank, I think it is.
I think they are stainless steel Unitanks.
It looks pimping. Like pimping. It looks good. Unfortunately, being as we're in the UK, we'll never get to see them.
No, and not unless we're taking a very long journey.
Yeah,
to go check one out. But
that's a hell of a journey to make.
Yeah, just to see some fermenters.
I've taken journeys for less.
I think I've sort of I don't know, psychologically just not really looked at them in great detail, because I've gone, I'm never going to have one of those.
I mean, look at the side of me. Firmzilla box.
Exactly, right. So I need to go check them out. I need to go have a look at how wonderful these Unitanks are.
They look really nice.
I'm intrigued. Right. Cheeky Peaks. I mean, these guys, just on a side note, Cheeky Peaks, they've really massively grown their Facebook group. I kind of remember it, well, since I've joined it, I think it's just gone from just stride by stride, really. And it's great to see so many people driving a good group.
I think they are the Malt Miller of Australia, though, aren't they?
Are they?
They're pushing it hardcore. Let's put it that way.
Ooh, yes.
Cheaper than a stainless steel 14-gallon Unitank. Yes, they are, Adam, and they probably still would be if you imported one.
I don't know about that.
Who do we know who's got a 14-gallon stainless steel SS Brewtech Unitank?
Don't know.
Did he have to rewire his house and sell a child? Anyway,
at least a kidney. That's actually whose kidney I've got in the books.
And you're going to have it with some fava beans and a nice Chianti, aren't you? That's the one. No, I mean, I've checked out these fermenters, and I have to say, if I had disposable income at the moment, I would probably be buying one of those.
They look pretty sweet. I mean, to be fair, it looks like they've got kind of a range of fermenters, like conical fermenters that aren't uni tanks, because it looks a bit like they've just got lids. Although I'm not sure if they are like like clamped lids. Maybe
No,
they are pressure rated. Like
I
they're
don't think they are. Not the standard sort of chronicles or conicals, whatever they've called it.
yeah, but then they've got these like actual uni tanks, which the smallest one in fairness is 70 liters.
I mean, that's pretty much 14 gallon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's your 14 gallon, and then they've got the 105 liter.
I mean, we know somebody who looks like a bollard who might be interested in one of them.
So what's 105 liters? That pretty much a whole barrel. That's a barrel system, isn't it?
Half barrel.
Half barrel would be like 80, 70 liters.
I don't know.
Let's find out.
I used to work in a brewery, and I've still got no idea about fucking brewers' barrels and shit.
A barrel is 136 liters.
Well, there you go.
It's 136.274824 liters. So,
if we're being exact.
But I would imagine our Australian brethren probably don't adhere to that old English measurement of barrels and firkins.
No, they probably do. That's the thing about
pins.
Australia. You go to Australia, mate, and they hang on to some weird shit. They really do. You know, I mean, to be fair, if there were as many things in my country that could fucking kill me, I'd probably do the same.
Well,
there is literally a spider in Australia that lives underneath toilet seats and bites you on the arse when you sit down to take a crap.
Yeah, that seems unfair, doesn't it?
And plus, there's like a billion snakes out there that'll kill you that just want to be inside your house. There's fucking spiders everywhere. Fucking dingoes will take you down if you're a small child. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, this is true.
I would be walking around with an M60 strapped to my chest. I was living in Australia and fucking shooting everything that moved.
In fairness, there is an awful lot of people that live in Australia that seem to get by year quite just fine.
They just don't give a fuck.
They seem to live with it.
Australians just don't give a fuck. They just don't. It's like, nah, mate, everything over here will kill you, but we don't give a shit. That's what it is. You've got fucking Steve Irwin. Wow, this is the deadliest snake in the world, and I'm going to shove my thumb up its ass. It's fucking...
It's true.
He wrestled crocodiles, for fuck's sake. The man was a legend. Australians are just hardcore.
Yeah,
hardcore.
that was a genuinely sad day when Steve Irwin left this planet.
Have you seen his son?
I have, yeah.
His son's 50 times more mental.
Yeah, I could imagine. He's a very good photographer, as I discovered the other day.
Who, his son?
Yeah, he takes some like insane wildlife kind of, because he's so crazy. He's just getting like photos of like, I don't know, a snake's tonsils or something.
Oh.
You know, and I also saw a video of Steve Irwin surfing the other day.
No,
and he was like surfing like in his uniform. So he had his like khaki shorts, his khaki shirt, his boots on, and he's just absolutely shredding.
Fucking legend.
Like seriously shredding it.
What a legend.
Yeah, he was just insane. That guy, just what a guy.
He was awesome, and the thing was,
he was a hero of mine.
On a serious note, okay, aside from all the crazy Australian lingo, the man actually genuinely cared about wildlife conservation.
He did.
He genuinely gave a shit. He genuinely wanted to protect animals, and he genuinely wanted to leave them in as close to their natural habitat as he could. He was fucking awesome. I used to love watching his TV show when I was a nipper. I really did. He was fucking awesome.
So didn't he start Australia Zoo?
Yeah.
Which is still going today, which is awesome. I've actually been there, and they have some insanely large crocodiles there.
Yeah.
Just
There was one.
unreal.
There's a village of people in. I think it's. I might be wrong on the place. I think it might be India or somewhere like that, where they've got saltwater crocodiles, and these saltwater crocs are like 24 feet long.
Mm.
A 24-foot long fucking dinosaur, and they actually hired hunters to come in to kill these crocodiles because these crocodiles were waiting down by the river, waiting for people to go down to the river and do whatever it is that they do at the river, and then just fucking snatching them and eating them.
Yeah.
So they had literal dinosaurs preying on their village.
And they're just like they've had millions of years of like evolution to just be like the ultimate predator. Like, did you know like the little ridges on their back? You know how they have those, like they're perfectly designed for them to be able to go under the surface of the water without creating a ripple.
Yeah,
like
I did know that.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, isn't it?
I think that fact's true, but
the other thing about crocodiles and alligators is the bite power of a crocodile is so much that they can literally bend steel with their bite. But here's the other thing: you can hold a crocodile's mouth shut with an elastic band.
I did hear that. Yeah, you can't
prop it open with a stick. You can keep it shut with an elastic band, but you can't prop it open with a stick. Crazy. It's nature, man. It's fucking awesome.
So that, yeah, frightening beasts.
It scared the shit out of me.
I'm not sure if I'd want to live in a country where there is such frightening beasts near any body of water.
I know full well I fucking wouldn't.
Fancy a dip in the creek? No thanks. No thanks. In fairness, though, you know, it's only relatively small parts of what is an enormous country, right? Anyway, is it time? Is it time for second beer?
It is. I've just pulled mine out and shown everybody the brewery.
You have. I'm going to hide mine behind my kidney lid.
Your kidney lid. Oh, that was it. That was impressive, mate.
Thanks.
So everybody knows that my second beer is from Harrison's Brewery because they've just seen it.
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah. However, what you won't know is anything about the beer if I show you the front.
You've got one of those special limited edition.
Oh, yes.
Only a few people in the country are going to get to try beers.
Yes, and to be fair, he sent me 2 cans of this and I've already had one and it is fucking amazing.
Is it?
Go on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man.
Right, well, you best tell us all about it.
It's also stronger than yours.
Is it? No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, hello. Oh, I need to get in.
Come on. I want to know about this beer.
Well, this particular beer is made by Harrison's Brewery.
Where's Chris gone?
Alvin and the Chipmunks. Now, so this particular beer is made by a friend of the podcast, Harry Brew, at Harrison's Brewery. And this is one of his... Oh, shit.
Oh, dear.
It's growing.
Was it a bad pour? Sounds like it. I really wanted to see that come out your nose. But don't do that. That's the most disturbing thing I've seen for a while.
This is going to go all over my desk. I might as well just accept it.
And I look at some disturbing things on a regular basis.
Hashtag Top Girl.
No, I don't regularly look at that.
So, this is one of Harry Brew's Victoria's Secret and my favorite Simcoe 7% IPA with verdant yeast and the hop flower enzyme. Okay. So this was one of the trial batches that Harry did that he sent me in a massive crate of beer that I ordered when he said,
Are you sure that doesn't say hop flavor, not hop flour? I reckon it says flavor.
No, the enzyme's called the hop flour enzyme.
Oh, is it?
I've got 20 mil of it in here.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, it's sold
Please proceed, sir.
God, what's it got? I would like a flake with this, Adam. Yeah, please, mate. And it's still growing. It's getting bigger. That's a terrible pour.
Are we still talking about the beer?
Yeah, look at this.
Dirty.
So it is dirty.
Poor joke.
So it's Vic's Secret and Simcoe, and it's a fizzy motherfucker. But this is the biggest beer I think I've drunk in a very long time. 7%. Aside from the 11% INPI I had in the last actual podcast that we did. So cheers, lads. If I can actually get any beer out.
So this is a IPA.
I mean, it's borderline dipper at 7%, isn't it?
Yeah, it's IPA range, I think.
It's borderline.
I'll let you off on borderline.
To be fair, it's probably it's like a triple IPA to me. It's thick. It's coating. It's quite heavy on the alcohol for me because I'm not a big alcohol guy. And it's boatloads of that tropical smash you in the face with a fucking paddle flavor. Very little of that cat piss kind of thing. I'm getting something which could be considered dank. I don't know what I think he might use Columbus possibly for the bittering on this. But this is one of those beers where I'm not a massive fan of huge beers. Okay, normally 5.5 is pretty much my limit. I could drink quite a few of these because it hides the alcohol so incredibly well. It is quite brown, you're right, but I think that's just a shitty pour and crappy light. Because if I hold it up there, it's orange. There's no oxidation in here. I can tell you that one for free. I
was wondering just by the visual of it, but
if I turn that round,
okay.
There's no oxidation.
So it's probably it's probably a hazy beer, but maybe on the darker range of hazy beers.
It's very orange, but there's no oxidation at all.
Orange, yeah.
Straight fruit juice.
Nice.
Like straight fruit juice. Hides the alcohol incredibly. I mean, look how much I've smashed already. Straight fruit juice, bags of mango, bags of pineapple, bags of that tropical thing. Vic's Secret for me always gives me a lime kick. It gives me just a bag of fruit. There's mango. I'm getting hints, weirdly enough, of papaya. It's a very, very, very good flavor. Really nice. Quite strong. It's one of my favorite beers that Harry sent me so far. And I hope to God he puts this out for general release. Because this is an absolute banger. And Vic's Secret is, Richard Brooks has just said VS is awesome. Vic's Secret is rapidly becoming one of my favorite hops in commercial beers.
What do you reckon? What does it bring? Vic's Secret, do you reckon?
I think it brings lime and papaya.
Really?
Which is great because I went to a restaurant that served Guam food. Okay, you know, like Guam, that tiny little island.
Yep. US Navy base.
It is a US Navy base, and they had some Guam food. I was in London, and basically Guam food has lots of unripe papaya, so green papaya, lime, and it has peanuts and it has other stuff. And I thought it was so good. I had 4 main dishes, not just because I'm a fat bloke, but because I really enjoyed the food. Wow. I get papaya, I get lime, I get a little bit of just imagine a tropical fruit platter. I also get, weirdly enough, I'm getting kiwi fruit that make sense?
Yeah, like a ripe or an unripe kiwi.
I'd never eat unripe kiwi, so really ripe kiwi, getting that kind of flavour.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's fucking stunning. And to be fair, at 7%, it ain't going to last very long.
Just trying to remember what a nice ripe kiwi tastes like.
It tastes like a kiwi fruit. It's borderline citrus.
You know, I see. You know, like I'm going to go tangent here. Like,
no, not you, Owen.
Not me, no. But you know, like when someone just goes, "Oh, so like, well, it tastes like kiwi," and then you go,
"What the fuck does a kiwi taste like?"
Yeah, like obviously I know. Like if I was eating a kiwi, I'd go, "Yes, that tastes like a kiwi." But if you try to sort of like, it's almost like muscle memory, isn't it? It's like there's almost like a, and I found this when I first started brewing. When I started first getting into beer, I wasn't a bit clueless in terms of like when I tasted a beer, I wasn't really sure what I was tasting, and
untrained palate.
Yeah, like an untrained palate. But actually, yeah, the palate, the ability to train your palate is the ability to memorize what certain flavors actually are and taste like, right? So when you go, "Oh, it tastes like kiwi," you've got to be able to go. So it's important, like when you're eating a kiwi, to go, like, I've really got to try and remember what this tastes like, in order to be able to go. And you know, I nearly reviewed a lager. I nearly got a lager out, and I was like, you know what, I personally have a really hard time reviewing a lager.
Yeah,
because you go, oh, you know, it's bready, it's crisp. It tastes like noble hops. It's fizzy.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, maybe there's a bit of variation. I think anyone that like reviews lagers for a living, like hats off to you, because that's a tough gig.
The thing about lagers, and I'm going to join you on this tangent for a moment. The thing about lagers is it's not so much about the flavor. It's about the texture, for want of a better term. So it's the crisp. It's is it dry? Is it, you know, does it feel wet? Is it sharp? It's that kind. It's the textural thing rather than the flavor thing of lagers for me.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than having a lager that feels wet in your mouth.
All right.
Not when it's like, so if you have like a Pilsner and its final gravity is 1013, when you drink it, it feels wet. You don't get that drying sensation.
Or like an undercarbonated lager.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it just feels, when it feels wrong in your mouth, that's when you know you've got a bad lager. Whereas a good lager, you're down at sort of 1006, 1007, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's the sensation more than it is the actual flavor.
Yeah. I think you can like, so typically the sweetness. So some lagers, you'll get like a level of sweetness in them. So like if you take, for example, a Märzen, right?
Absolutely.
That is technically a kind of quite sweet lager style. But that sweetness doesn't come from the final gravity of the beer.
No.
But rather the additions of crystal malts,
the caramel,
and the caramel malts, right? So I think you're absolutely right in terms of it has to be a quite dry style, right? And a reasonably low finishing gravity just to give it that crispness. But weirdly, with like a Märzen, you can have crispness, but you can also have the perception of sweetness.
Absolutely, yes.
And you end up with the...
That's the reason why I love that style so much.
Yeah.
It almost fucks with your head when you're drinking it.
Yeah. And I think there are perhaps a few styles of beer that are a little like that.
Alt beer is very much like that.
Yeah. I'm excited actually to brew an alt beer. I'm quite looking forward to that.
You've got my recipe, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah, and I intend to follow it. It's on the brew list. It's on the brew list.
I imagine it's probably number 14 or 15 down on the brew list.
It's not actually, Chris. It's not.
Oh, right.
It's quite near the top. I'll tell you. I don't know about you, but I have an awful lot of different brew lists.
I have one brew list.
The brew lists. I've got I've got the top of the list is the hop tester beer that I need to brew for the purpose of the podcast.
Oh.
Second is the alt beer.
Oh wow.
Third is Hokum Stomp, which I'm gonna
obviously.
do. Which I'm gonna ferment out with Oob.
You're gonna Uber it.
I'm gonna Uber it. Discuss.
I would Ebergarden it.
You see, that's where I went with it last time, and it did actually work really well. But
the reason why I wouldn't use Uber is because Uber will dry it out quite a lot.
Yeah,
and it may change your perception of all of those wonderful roasty, biscuity, caramelly dark malt.
But then you say that the original recipe is fermented with USA 5.
True.
Which is a clean, relatively high attenuating yeast in itself. So,
I mean,
that was my thinking.
Do you know the thing, though, Owen? It's your boat, mate. You're going to paddle it.
I'm going to paddle it, all right.
I had to get that in.
You did. And then we've got the live brew day, which we're going to be doing the American Red. Elusive Brewing American Red beer.
I'm sitting here and I've realised I've actually got my Is the Shed Unlocked lighting on, when really I should be more down around this point for a much more sexy atmosphere.
That's perfect.
Sorry about that, guys. I realised I wasn't looking my sexiest.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Most people are listening to this as a podcast. They don't care what you look like. They may not even know what you look like.
A lot of people don't think I'm sexy as well.
No.
Yeah.
Shame.
Can't win them all.
If only they could see a picture of you, Chris.
I'd be beating them off with a shitty stick.
Yeah. So
now, back
to the beer.
This beer is a fucking banger. I'm giving it 8.3. It's amazing. Eustace is drooling based on my description. Eustace, you need to come to the UK and you need to try some of this beer because it's an absolute fucking banger.
So it looks to be hazy.
Is
it more like a sort of New England? Like, is it more East Coast or is it got good whack? Mid-coast. So it's got that softness, but it's got some bitterness to it.
It's nice. The bitterness kind of counteracts the alcohol quite well. And there's a residual sweetness that kind of comes through on it. It's a really nice beer. I like it a lot. I really do. And to be fair, now it's warmed up a bit, I'm actually getting, weirdly, a tinge of kind of unripe pear.
There we go. What does unripe pear taste like?
It tastes almost like green papaya.
Yeah.
But with a little bit more earthiness.
But maybe an earthiness, maybe a little bit sweeter.
It's nice. It's really nice.
I actually, for the record, don't really like papaya.
What?
Yeah. It's a bit too savoury for me. I really want it to be like juicy fruit. It looks to be like it should be a juicy fruit. And then you pop it in your mouth and you go, oh, it's a little bit savoury.
I like papaya with chili in a stir fry.
Fair dues. I was probably talking more like in the sense of just eating it as a fruit on its own.
No, I wouldn't eat it as a fruit. I wouldn't. I think papaya's at its best when it's surrounded by overly savoury flavours. Like papaya and pork go really well together.
I can't say I've really experimented with papaya in my food.
Oh man, I experiment with everything in my food.
There we are.
That's the rock and roll, isn't it?
It is. You're a rock and a roller.
The bottom line is you got to try everything twice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
True. Maybe.
dude, come on.
Not always true.
Hit me up and tell me what you're drinking, because I've got a hard on right now.
Come on, so that style that I haven't tried before. Well, I have now tried it because I've had a few sips. Is the tropical stout.
Ooh,
yeah, which is a pretty niche style of beer.
Interesting, there, darling.
Yeah, so tropical stouts is pretty much like you're talking about your kind of Jamaican foreign extra stouts. Yeah, so if anyone's not aware, the Jamaicans are huge stout fans, but they prefer the stout to be stronger and fruitier than what your sort of classic Guinness is. So if anyone's ever had, and I think actually Guinness did release to the UK market a foreign extra stout or a Jamaican foreign extra stout style of beer. So, and they may even still make it, but it was a style of beer that I just wanted to try. There you go. So this one is from Cloudwater, of all people, and it is a collab with a number of different other breweries. So we've got Second Shift, Rock Leopard, Queer Brewing, Black and Soul, UK Black Pride, and it's called Rain or Shine, and I think it is to do with raising awareness of black trans people.
Yeah.
Who are recognized as one of the world's most marginalized group. Which, in fairness, is not the reason I bought it. I just saw that it was a tropical stout, so I added it to my basket, but nonetheless, pretty cool that they're representing a cause.
So are we talking, just before you start giving us the full deep down and dirty, full-blown Owen sexy talk, are we talking a stout with tropical fruit juice, or are we talking tropically hopped?
I think more tropically hopped, I think is probably, or it may not even be the hops. It may be the yeast contribution.
Wow, what yeast is it?
It doesn't say. So I've got no clue, but I'd be guessing it would be some sort of fruity English ale. Right, so it may well be Verdant, it may be LA3.
LA3, man, that's a good yeast.
Yeah, it's a great yeast. It could be any one of those. I mean, I'll give it a taste and see if I can figure it out. But it's a 6.2% ABV beer.
Oh man! Whoa! I've just had a thought.
Go.
Persistently bitter, made with London fog.
Yeah.
Wow. Putting that one on the fucking list. Where's my book? Go on. Sorry, I interrupted.
With London fog, which is LA3 mixed with something.
Yeah, I think it's a blend, isn't it?
I think it is a blend.
Oh, I need a fucking pen. I need to write that. Somebody send me a message that I need to make persistently bitter with London Ale 3. Or London Fog, sorry.
To it. So this is described, or a tropical stout is described as having a higher ABV, or typically about a double ABV of a dry stout. It features a noticeable sweetness, prominent fruity flavors, and a dry coffee-like flavors from the roasted barley. And I think Verdant, Cloudwater have done a great job with this beer.
Wow.
Because you're getting that real hint of chocolate and sweetness on the nose, on the aroma, with the fruitiness. And I don't think it is a hoppy fruitiness. I think it is a yeast fruitiness. I couldn't tell you what yeast it was, so
it's mixed, hoppy fruitiness.
It's mixed in with like quite a strong malt bill, so I think so.
Come on, take a drink. Give us the full Owen.
I might. It's got instantly what you notice about this beer. So it's got quite like a high carbonation. So it's got like a nice fizziness to it.
Wow.
So it's worlds apart to kind of that milky side or creamy side of stouts.
Wow. So it's
You
more of
know?
the bitter.
So it's not so much bitter, but it's fizzier and it's more drinkable. So
Right.
even though it's got a perception of sweetness, it's not like desserty. You know what I mean? So it's got So that's what I get first.
Someone's found a niche.
But it's got great body to it. And it dries out. It dries out beautifully. It's not bitter, but it's balanced. It's got a fruitiness. It's chocolatey. It's not too roasty. It's more chocolatey, I would say, than roasty. It's not too much of the coffee thing going on. It's just a genuinely bloody enjoyable pint, that.
The weird thing is sometimes people latch onto something like a tropical stout and they fucking hit pay dirt. They really do hit pay dirt, don't they?
Mm.
That sounds amazeballs, mate. It's a Cloudwater beer, yeah?
Yeah.
We need
I
to...
mean, I wouldn't say, like, it's one of those beers that you'd have a sip and go, that's just amazing, you know, or like, oh, that's so outstanding. It's just a really enjoyable pint for a stout.
Is it ticking the boxes, Owen?
That's just the best way I could describe that. It hides its strength wickedly well as well. Very pleasant, but it is quite fizzy.
We're both having beers that hide their strength particularly well, that are very fizzy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That is.
So what tropicality are you getting from it?
I mean, it's not like it's subtly fruity.
Right. So it's not like banging your face.
No, it's not banging you in the face at all.
Nobody's dumped 4 tons of fruit puree into
that. There's not a single bit of fruit's gone near that. And I wouldn't have said that a great deal of hops have gone near it either. It's not that sort of fruitiness that you would get from an American hop or an Australian hop or whatever. It's just got a nice subtle fruitiness to it.
That's what you want, mate.
Yeah, it's very, very pleasant. I'm pleased that I've tried a tropical stout, and I think I might even think about brewing one at some point.
Mate, I'll be right there with you. You know what I mean? It sounds good.
I reckon it might be a tricky style to nail, though. I think it's all about balance.
I think maybe if you sent an email to Cloudwater, they might help you out. They
might.
Difficult styles are always, for me, the ones I want to pursue.
So it's just all about like the balance is fine, and it's all about finding that balance to get the beer just right, and that is always probably the hardest thing to do, isn't it? I mean, you can make an IPA that has a shitload of hops in it and make it taste pretty good, right?
I mean, people off fucking Homebrew UK can make an IPA with a shitload of hops in it. You know, that's how easy it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater there with that comment. It's not. It's still a challenge to make a really good hoppy beer, but a lot of hops does hide a lot of sins, and I think to brew a beer that brings fruitiness to the beer without a fuck ton of hops and get the balance right and still have a nice residual sweetness. Yeah, that's trickier. I think you've got to know your brewing to get that right.
The difference between a good beer and a great beer is often degrees of change. It's a small percentage point.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And anybody can brew a Hefeweizen, But nailing a truly great Hefeweizen will take some time. It will take some effort. It will take some tweaking. It will take some change. I mean, we all know how many iterations of persistently bitter I've been through before I've got one that I'm happy with. We all know, well, you guys don't know. You've got no fucking idea because I've never mentioned this, but the number of iterations of the Märzen I've been through to get one that I'm happy with. I mean, we're talking more iterations of the Märzen than we are of the persistently bitter. But that's me. I'm a chaser of perfection, or a chaser of optimality rather than perfection. I believe perfection to be a false god. I don't believe you can ever truly achieve perfection.
No, because ultimately, like, it's the eye of the beholder, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, and I guess you could achieve a sort of perfection in your own mind, but then what you do find is that changes over time as well.
It very much does.
It could change with seasons, and it can, you know, it's quite variable. So I'd agree with your point about that, but I'd agree with your point about the Hefeweizen, right? I mean, a lot of people claim, and I probably strongly disagree with this point, that the Hefeweizen is an easy style to make.
It fucking isn't.
You know, they're like,
really
it's so easy, you know, and I'm like, well, I've tried quite a few times and fucked it up royally, so I disagree with that point. But to actually make a really good Hefeweizen, I think requires, as you say, a lot of skill and to really nail that style.
I think to produce any style of beer, to really encapsulate the key features of the style, I do believe it's a question of small percentage points. Because the difference between a good NEPA and a bad NEPA is maybe 2%. If you're looking at it as a efficiency, effectiveness, kind of evolution of the style, I think you're looking at maybe percentage points, 3, maybe 4%, just as a to put a value on the. Do you add the hops at high Krausen? Do you not? Do you use this yeast? Do you use that yeast? Do you use oats? Do you use maltodextrin? It's literally it's percentage points. The basis of it, that 90% of what you do is going to be what everyone else does. It's that 10% of finality, of tweak, of change, of honing. That's where you really get into a good NEPA. And we know people who've nailed it. We know Timmy, for God's sake. We know Timmy.
Yeah, and I think Timmy primarily brews that style, right?
Yeah.
Like he occasionally makes a Crystal Weizen or
an insane impy.
A massive impy stout, or sometimes I've had beers from him that have just been labelled beer. And he's just gone, I'm going to just make a beer. And I'm not even sure what style it is. And I've messaged him and go, what is it? And he just goes, it's beer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just an ale, a hoppy ale. But anyway, he primarily brews New England IPAs, and he has a fuck ton of hops because he obviously sells them. So he's got access to really fresh hops. And he has clearly just tweaked until he's gotten to his process and his recipes and the freshness of his product and all of this sort of stuff. He's just got, and he keeps it simple as well.
I know.
You know, that is such a key lesson in home brewing, is keep it simple, stupid, because it's so easy to overcomplicate. And in fact, that's a good lesson of my experience of brewing Hefeweizen was I overcomplicated it.
Yeah, you don't need the step mash. You don't need the iterated mash. You don't need anything like that.
You know, I ended up doing crazy step mashing and then just massively overlooked fermentation temperature. I just I fermented it at I don't know, completely the wrong temperature.
It's the wonderful thing about beer is,
Dickhead.
hey, we've all been there, fella. You know what I mean? We've all been there. It's one of those things. You can take advice. You can have a go. You can read articles, and the bottom line is, whatever works for you works for you. Simple as that.
True that.
Fucking hell! I tell you, the 6 o'clock wake up call is really catching up with me tonight. I think one of the things that I like, and I'm going to bring it back to the beer that I'm drinking. I don't really like high ABV beers. I really don't. I don't like them at all. I'm not a big fan. But this one is the kind of beer that I could quite happily sink 2 or 3 pints of and then go up to bed. I really could. And I think the thing about pro brewers versus home brewers is they have the ability to tweak and hone faster than the average home brewer. And what I think Harry has nailed with this beer is the fact that it's fruity, it's balanced, it's tasty, it's got enough body. It's not so heavy that it's chewy, but it's not so light that you drink it like water. This is a very balanced beer, and it blends right into what we've just been saying. Eventually, you're going to hit a sweet spot. And when you hit that sweet spot is where you should stop. If you've achieved perfection for you, for that style, for that beer, you don't need to change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
I think it's all too easy to have success with certain things within home brewing and then overdo it because you've gone, oh, I've done that and it's worked. Oh, so I'll do a bit more of that, or I'll do a bit more of that, and then actually you end up taking it too far, and you know, like, oh, I added some Munich malt to that beer and it added like a really nice thing, so I'm going to just try and do that more, and it might make it better. And then the reality is, you know, it's kind of all about balance.
Or in the case of persistently bitter, adding the amber malt, you know, 1.1 kilos of amber malt seems like a lot to some people, but with the way that the beer works, with the conditioning of it, it mellows, it chills, and it becomes this wonderful chocolatey, coffee, kind of toffee noted thing. It works really well. Sometimes a little bit of time is what a beer needs more than anything more in terms of the malt bill or whatever.
Yeah,
it's such a fucking interesting hobby.
It's just a dynamic and interesting thing, a beer, isn't it? It's
wonderful.
It's almost without just talking shit, which is actually primarily what we've done for an hour and a half. But it's like a metamorphosis, isn't it?
That's a great word.
You know, it just goes through at such an interesting journey, a beer, that it's not a static thing. You brew a beer and you drink it through, for the most part, like 19 liters. And you go on a bit of a journey with it, don't you?
You do.
And sometimes that journey is quick. Sometimes that journey's long. Sometimes that journey's
unwelcomed.
Or sometimes you don't want to go on that journey anymore. Yeah. And other times that journey just seems too long, and the beer comes to a drainy end.
I've got a stout that's going down the drain.
It's not still your that stout that you had, that you
the chocolate and coconut.
Yeah, the one you said.
No, man, that went down the drain fucking months ago. Okay. It's a different stout. It was my attempt for my dad at a straight Guinness clone. It hasn't worked out very well.
Why is that?
It's for want of a better term, it's tart.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. It's not. There's no acidity to it. There's no
infection?
Sourness or anything. No, it's not an infection. I tried a different yeast, and the yeast hasn't worked out too well. and I've had probably 8 or 9 pints over the course of a 6 to 10 week period, and I'm like, this is just not going the way that I want it to. So it's going down the drain, and I've got another beer to make for a mate, and then after that, I'll be changing the yeast and moving to a different, to a different journey, let's say.
Yeah, I think Clive Cutter's got a pretty good Guinness claim.
He does. He has an exceptional one, and it's his that I base mine off. I just changed the yeast because I didn't have his yeast.
Probably the most important fundamental part of the recipe.
It's a
bit like when I sort of make a video. I think I made a vacant gesture video, and I was like, oh, I've made a vacant gesture clone. And then I sort of went through the recipe and went, oh, actually, I've changed the hops and I've changed the yeast, and I sort of changed around with the grain bill. Yeah. So actually, really, it's not a vacant gesture clone at all. No. It's just an entirely new beer. Or when we go to the live brew day and we go, oh, yeah, I'm going to brew this. And then I've gone, yeah, I've changed the hops, I've changed the yeast.
It's like Tricky. Tricky seems to get these recipes out of the camera book and then go, I'm just going to change fucking everything.
I'm just going to rebuild the recipe.
Yeah, but then you can do that. We're home brewers. We're making 23 litres of beer, for fuck's sake. You can change everything.
That's
and
true.
Call it whatever the fuck you want.
That's true, and I think sometimes. But then equally, it's like, if you're going to clone a recipe, maybe it's just worth doing the recipe first.
Clone that recipe, yeah.
But then equally, sometimes it's sort of like you look at the yeast and you go, oh, it's that yeast, but I've got a slightly different version of that, and I can't be bothered to buy the actual yeast, so I'll just use that version, and whatever.
Sometimes you just have to pay respect to the man in the ice cream van, don't you?
It's true.
It's true. That's how we roll.
The man.
Are we done at that then?
I think so, yeah.
Right, gentlemen. I think that is episode 3 of the commercial podcast from the home of the Hop Edition, which is my shed and Owen's broom cupboard.
Yeah.
I think we need to just kind of leave this be as it is. Is your Audacity still running?
Yes.
My Audacity is still running. That means shit's working. That
Happy
means
days.
We should have some podcasts coming out for you guys very soon. I've got the one from Thursday to edit, the one from today to edit. I'm going to have a go at editing episode 33, which was me, Tricky, Andy, and Owen. Whether or not that one will come good, I don't know. Owen missed like 9.5 minutes of that podcast due to a setup error. Yes, it is Scooter, by the way, Brooksy. Yes, respect to the man with the ice cream van. I think all we're going to do is we're going to move forward. Me and Owen, we're going to keep doing these podcasts because I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I think so. I would hope that Andy and Tricky join us at some point. If they're around. Tricky was busy, and I think Andy's got some sweet money, sweet wedding money to earn tomorrow. So
wedding money.
Yeah.
We've already ascertained that he may well be a rent boy.
Well, he's got to pay off the brewery somehow, hasn't he?
He's got a camera, hasn't he? Yeah. Pornhub. So yeah, we could make all kind of aspersions, but we're not going to because we love our fellow podcast hosts. And yeah, absolutely, Richard. Who needs fucking beards? Yeah, look at us, almost clean shaven. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll talk about pseudo lagers next time.
Let's do it. Let's do it
uninterrupted.
Yeah, without those bitches moaning about it. So, thank you very much for joining us. We've had a blast chatting about random shit. Just to pimp the breweries, Harrison's Brewery. You can buy their beers online. Absolutely amazing. And Wild Child Brewery. You can buy their beers online. Faux show. Slippery Custom is currently available on their web shop, along with another one which I was going to do tonight, which is called... I was going to do this one, but I chose not to because I wanted to do the Vic Secret one. Insatiable Circumstance. Owen,
Oh, caramel latte porter.
slightly jealous, son.
Very.
Mm.
And a drinkable
Oh, yeah.
ABV as well.
Absolutely, 5.1.
Smashable.
So yeah, they've got some banging beers on, and I know for a fact that Stand Up Sick. What's the name of that brewery that you've got on your t-shirt?
Wildcard.
Wildcard Brewery. I know for a fact that a lot of people have recommended their beers. They're fucking fantastic. Omnipollo. And what was your first one? Was that the Italian?
That was from the brewery called Crack, or CRAK.
I'm glad I let you say that because I was going to say wank, but Crack's better.
Crack. I'd highly recommend checking those guys out. And if you haven't heard of a small upcoming brewery, Cloudwater, then go check those out. I joke. They're clearly very popular.
Cloudwater are just here.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, have you seen this? Before we leave this live stream, 1 second. So, I've got this glass, and I've got his baby brother. Yeah. So there we go.
Where did you get those from?
Cloudwater.
They're amazing.
Yeah, the little one's like a super tiny tasting glass. It's mint. Check out the breweries that we've been talking about. Send some love to the brewing world. If you've got the cash and you're buying beer, please support breweries, because right now at this particular point in time, they need it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much commercial pod 3 us done.
In the bag.
In a bag, mate.
In the bag.
All right, so we're going to cancel this one. I'm going to stick up the link for the live chat. And I can't remember what the password... Oh, I do remember what the password is. The password is... Remember the exclamation mark or you won't get in. So, the live chat, the after party is going to happen for probably the next 20 minutes, maybe. I know I've got to go to bed because I've been up since stupid o'clock, and I know Owen's got to go to bed because he's going to Legoland.
Wild times.
Ninjago. There we go. So, we're out. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you soon on the next episode of the Hop Edition.
Later, guys.
People. Bye.
Bye.